EVO announcement show. We watched it live here on twitch.tv/MashThosButtons. We had a poll, and none of us were right, but I think Static G had the most correct. Like, Gabe was the closest. If you haven't checked out the lineup, it's been officially announced. We'll be getting Street Fighter 6, duh. Guilty Gear Strive, also duh. KOF 15, Tekken 7, and then that was like the four that were like no-brainers. So the other four were like kind of like ranged from like, oh, okay, makes sense, to like, holy fucking shit. So I want to say DragonBall FighterZ was the only one that really was on that tail end, like, oh, makes sense, you know, huge IP. I don't think anyone has screamed as much in that arena as getting a, you know, a Cell intro in there, like in EVO's entirety. But then it started getting kind of nutty. So the way they went, it went Street Fighter, it went Guilty Gear, it went Dragon Ball, it went Tekken, and then it went KOF, right? I think that's what.
Yeah, no, same order as what we're seeing.
I think that's what it went. Then we got hit with Melty Blood Type Lumina, Melty Blood on main stage, second appearing, because it did make it last year, right? Yeah,
yes,
it made it last year. So that's awesome to see. I was stoked. Any community that gets a chance to stand up on the pedestal that is EVO, especially for the finals day, which we'll talk about the format that they changed up in a sec too, is super, super awesome. Then they came out of left field with MK11 Ultimate. Let's put the Ultimate on there. I did not see that coming. It's been brewing for a while. We've been trying to figure out, like, you know, what, like, could they possibly have MK weird in there? Not sure, but MK11, shout out to Darth Arma. MK11 making it is crazy. We don't know if there's going to be a patch or if they're just gonna let it rock to how the game is right now. Not to say the game's unplayable, but you know, it's not unplayable. I don't want to say the game is terrible. It's just, you know, there's definitely some abusive shit there, but it is what it is. MK11 Ultimate's making it in there, but that further emphasizes the idea that we should be getting some sort of announcement when it comes to MK11. And if you can't tell already,
I thought you were talking about Marvel.
Static G's already dancing because fucking Marvel versus
baby.
Capcom 3, Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 has made it, and Tong's tears were just
my goodness,
endless. And no, dude, it was incredible. I mean, I had an inkling. I was like, man, they put Yipes on? I mean, not to say there's a reason. Like, Yipes and Reinhardt, they hosted the show.
Yipes still plays DNF.
I was like, Yipes also played DNF. That's the other reason. I was like, oh, it could still be DNF. He's been, he's big in pushing it and keeping it active and all, right? He's supporting it just how Tong supports Ultimate Marvel, right? The TNS crew, everybody. But Marvel, when they went to black and you just heard Capcom presents Marvel Comics, Gabe had to get up and walk away, or you had your headphones were off or something like that. Like, yeah, I forgot what you did, but I was kind of like in shock myself. I was like, what year is this, bro?
So keep in mind, it's been 6 years since Marvel's been back. 2017 was the last time. I believe that was when Chris G won it. We haven't seen Marvel since. Even like Infinite just wasn't meeting up to the standards. There's a lot more games out. What people also don't realize, and I just figured it out, like, I know, so if you look at the history of what's been there for NRS games, which this is why I said I'm shocked, because I thought they would bring Injustice 2 back, considering it was like kind of like one of the staples for like two to 3 years roughly. They were there 2017, 2018, and then 2019 Mortal Kombat 10 came out. Yeah,
so, yeah, that was mine.
Oh, jeez, I didn't even know that was you.
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah. So no, Meza, you're right. I think that was one of the most hyped moments, honestly, though. Injustice 2 with the Flash comeback on Superman. It's crazy. Like, but you were saying, go ahead.
I just felt like it was okay to give Mortal Kombat 11 like kind of that showcase last year, because it's long overdue, right? So with COVID and everything, but for it to get a second year, okay, and I'm gonna be real here. I don't think there's any other game other than Grand Blue Versus, realistically speaking, that could have filled that slot, because it did it well last year, right? So the player base came out, The viewership was kind of insane. The game was, from what people said, exciting to watch, and it was getting updated. This year, there's a lot of games not getting updated on time. There's a lot of games that haven't been meeting those standards. So I'm kind of surprised to see 2 older games, other than just like Marvel's fine. I don't mind Marvel, but MK11 was kind of just like the outlier. It really was. Like, the hell is that doing there? So, and I know we say like NRS needs representation, but come on, let's look at Smash. Smash kind of got removed. Samurai Showdown had representation one year, was gone after the next. Like, where, like, I wouldn't put that back in there.
After the next, yeah.
I mean, but even so, it only had one, and it didn't show back up. So, I mean, I think people have to not look at it from it's just the player base. It's also other things that come into play, especially now that Sony runs it. They're going to want to make money. They're going to want to be able to get the viewership back. So, I don't know. EVO is looking kind of weird as hell this year, but if you're a Street Fighter player, you're happy. If you're a Guilty Gear player, it's just like, it's too many anime games, man. So just be real. There's too many anime games to fit that bill. So you're going to go with the top ones that do well.
And to throw onto that, only because this gift happened to just be a perfect example, the prize pool, man, for these games.
Yep.
No, probably no short in part by Chipotle, where you can get yourself an awesome bowl and or burrito custom made to your order. Pick what you like. Always get the red sauce. This show is not sponsored by Chipotle yet, unless you guys want it. Let us know. But yeah, so Chipotle is sponsoring EVO. I mean, not to say they're the only ones, but 25K minimum prize pool for all tournaments is amazing. You're not gonna walk away. You're not going in just for pure nostalgia. Whoever just shows up, you show out. There's, if you've been on the grind still, if you're from the Marvel, MK, Melty, I mean, sure, all those other the other games are still a little bit more mainstream, but if you're still grinding out, here's your chance to actually make waves and show that you're about it. This is your game. This is the year to do it, and there's cash money to go along with it. And of course, PlayStation, right? PlayStation sponsoring it. What is it? What the hell is it called? In-zone headset and monitors are going to be used throughout the entire event. And all the community events are going to have setups, stream setups, the consoles / PCs to run all this stuff. That's all being provided, man. This is true. EVO's definitely shaping out to be it was already community driven on certain aspects for sure. It starts as early as Anime EVO, now Vortex Gallery. It's just a shitload of events being ran on the side by people that just love those events. Now you're just seeing more support from the org itself in it. Is a beautiful thing. And then you still have all that other casual stuff, right? You got the arcade, you got exhibitions, you're gonna have panels. Panels have always been a thing, but it's like more Q&As with developers, more transparency there. The fucking arcade stick gallery is gonna be back. That's gonna be amazing. So it's overall turning out to be it's gonna be a great year to go.